Now, from what it seems, is that Jon Jones is refusing to fight Tom Aspinall, and we're going to talk about it. Are there any truth to this? Or is it that Jon is just negotiating behind the scenes? Now, the reason why I'm asking this is because in the recent Tom Aspinall video, he came out proclaiming that Jon Jones is not responding to the contract negotiations. And in fact, he even goes and explains how it is on his side that is refusing to fight because it is Tom Aspinall that is asking for this fight without any hesitation. And I got to be honest with you, the heavyweight division in the UFC right now is in absolute bad shape in terms of what Tom Aspinall has done to many of these competitors. Now, for example, Tom Aspinall has took out Curtis Blaydes in the first round. Granted, Curtis Blaydes fought him the first time only for Tom Aspinall to blow out his knee very early on within 15 seconds. But then he goes and takes out Pavlovich, takes out Curtis Blaydes, and then he takes out Myson Tybura. Then he takes out Volkov. So who is left? Cyril Gane? The problem with that is Cyril Gane got starts by Jon Jones. And Jon Jones is supposedly right now the crowned and the official undisputed heavyweight champion of the UFC. And that in and of itself is questionable because there's still Francis Ngannou lingering around, and granted, not in the UFC, but still the lineal heavyweight champion of the UFC prior to his departure from the company. So there's a lot of confusion going on in the heavyweight division, and it is up to Jon and Tom Aspinall to fix that. And even if they were to fight, guess what? Francis Ngannou is still out there lingering on. So there is a lot of unresolved issues that are going on in the heavyweight division right now. Now, we got to ask the question, why is Jon not taking this fight? And there's several reasons I could probably name, but the one reason that a lot of people think they have as a theory is that Jon is just plainly scared or doesn't want to take that risk because one fight is literally going to determine his whole entire legacy. Now, you're probably asking, well, how is it that that whole entire fight is going to determine his legacy when we've seen Anderson Silva, a guy who was from his era, get knocked down from the title and basically getting cut from the UFC at the end of his career? How is it that Jon's reputation or legacy is going to get ruined that way? Well, I got to tell you, the controversies that has been surrounding Jon all throughout his career sort of gives people this emboldenment of scolding the reality of Jon Jones, right? In other words, the scandals that he's gotten into, you can't ignore that. You also can't ignore the fact that Jon has been out there doing a whole bunch of things that a lot of people would disagree with, right? I'm not going to mention them. I mean, there's the Vegas incident with his wife. There's the there's positive aspects too. You remember in the pandemic, he basically went all Captain America mode and saved the entire city of Albuquerque, New Mexico from vandalism. Because obviously, if you remember, during that time, there was a lot of riots, a lot of commotion going on during the pandemic. And then there was a George Floyd thing going on. Oh, and how about this, right? A little side story to that. Donald Trump is in motion right now, possibly releasing Derek Chauvin, the officer that supposedly unalived George Floyd. Now, you got to wonder how that's going to work out in the the riot that may follow after that, and the chaos and the bedlam that it may bring. But nonetheless, not to digress from the topic at hand, a lot of people want to see Jon Jones fall, is basically what I'm trying to get to. And it's with these reasons that I had just mentioned why people are desperate to see him fall. On the other hand, you also got to understand that Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. And for him to leave in this kind of capacity, it would leave a lot of unresolved issues in the heavyweight division. Okay, because like I've mentioned before already, Francis Ngannou out of the company. Tom Aspinall has already beaten everybody. Jon Jones, he's not really a heavyweight. This was sort of like a side project that he wanted to do. And for however many fights, I don't think that he was looking to do the type of run that he did in light heavyweight. Simply because in light heavyweight, it was a lot easier for him to go on that run. Now, I know a lot of those names are very legendary and things of that nature. And he fought a light heavyweight division that, quite frankly, is a whole lot more competitive than the 205 division that Alex Pereira is leading right now. Here's another thing that I wanted to talk about, right? How about GSP? Do you remember he did the same thing that Jon Jones did? What exactly is that? A dominant champion. By the way, both GSP and Jon Jones were dominant champions at the same era. So what happened was GSP had that Johnny Hendricks fight, vacated the belt, left the company, left the sport, then came back 3 years later to fight Michael Bisping. I think it was 4 years later, but somewhere around that range. So from 2013 and then 2017, he comes back, beats Michael Bisping for the title, and guess who was waiting in the wings? And this was very prominent during that time. You know who it was? It was none other than Robert Whittaker. And what happened? The fight never happened. GSP immediately vacated the belt. And maybe that's the problem. Jon did not decide to vacate the belt after the Cyril Gane win. He decided to not vacate the belt after the Stipe Miocic win. What he did was simply continue to lead people on with these fake intentions that he wanted to fight. And again, I could be wrong. This whole entire video could be wrong. And out of nowhere, Jon just decides, hey, you know what? I'm going to fight Tom Aspinall in the summertime. But right now, Tom Aspinall is explaining to the world that he doesn't want to fight, and it's only him that wants to fight. And if Jon is refusing to fight, he wants to move on, whether that would be against Cyril Gane or anybody else that's in the wings that could basically crown him the undisputed, because right now he's just the interim champion. Same thing happened with Robert Whittaker. Now, why is it that everybody wants to see Jon Jones fight Tom Aspinall, but nobody was really pushing for Robert Whittaker to fight GSP? Of course, the hardcore fans will always push that. They will always push for the best fighting the best. But how come it never happened? I'm going to tell you why. Because in the back of people's minds, they knew that perhaps maybe Robert Whittaker would have been a problem. But in hindsight, thinking about it, I think that GSP would have been a problem for Robert Whittaker. But nonetheless, Robert Whittaker went on with his career. He went on to fight Yoel Romero. Then he went on to have that series with Israel Adesanya. And then Israel Adesanya became the champion. And from there, that is where the 185 division is at. And where it's all the way to Sean Strickland now into Dricus du Plessis. And that's basically the lineage of that belt. Now, why is it that people want to see Jon Jones do what GSP couldn't do against Robert Whittaker? It's as simple as this. Jon Jones, in the eyes of many people, is a scumbag. And as a result of him being a scumbag, people want to see him lose. And quite frankly, Tom Aspinall is a very bad matchup for him. So, of course, it's possible that he could lose to a guy like that. And not only that, the shock value that it would bring. For example, Mike Tyson, when he fought Buster Douglas, right? That was a huge upset. How about the teammate of Jon Jones, Holly Holmes, knocking out Ronda Rousey? That was absolutely insane. Sean Strickland beating Izzy. That was shocking. What else was a shocking result? How about Amanda Nunes being beaten by Pena? That was a shocking result. All these shocking results, people want to see it because, quite frankly, they feel that there is a vindication that comes with that. You see, Jon Jones, in many people's eyes, is such a scumbag that they want to believe in this fair world, or rather, from the desensitization of a lot of people, they've realized that it's an unfair world. They want to see some sort of retribution. But that's not going to happen, is it? Because this is the reality of the world. Sometimes bad guys get away with a lot of things that you don't wish that they could get away with. But then there are other times where the bad guys got it coming to them and end up like P. Diddy getting arrested from all the years of abuse and all the years of misusing their power and things of that nature. Epstein is also another part of that list, but don't forget to like and subscribe. That is all that I have for this content, because if I continue and keep on going, I'm going to talk about controversial things that have nothing to do with Jon Jones. But understand this: Jon Jones is somebody that people want to see lose because of the things that he has committed in the past. And that is why they want to see him fight Tom Aspinall, and that is why we've never seen GSP fight Robert Whittaker. Because look at George St. Pierre. He's somebody that embodies what it means to be a role model and an athlete, a good guy, Captain Canada, even though he played a bad guy in Captain America. But in real life, he is a good guy. And Jon Jones, he's played a Navy SEAL in a movie, supposedly a good guy, but in real life, he's anything but. And that is the reason why people want to see him fight Tom Aspinall. And that is the reason why we never really pushed GSP to fight Robert Whittaker. But again, welcome to the theater of the unknown. For all we know, this fight could very well happen, and it may happen soon. Or what may happen soon is Jon gets on the mic, gets on the video camera, or gets on an interview, or maybe a press conference, and proclaims, you know what? I'm vacating this belt. Let the best man be the best man, and whoever's going to hold that lineage next. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.